Hello, my name is Myra. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I actually wanted to go through and show you the reading planner that I will be using in 2026. And I'll kind of go over things that I added on there, but I will also link below the flip through video from this small business that actually creates the planner. That way, if you want to go through it, I think that she also mentions other ideas of things that you can do with it, and you can kind of set that up on your individual planner. I think the one that I have is already sold out, but I do believe that she still has other planners, and I think she has some undated ones. So if you still wanted to go that route, you can definitely do that. But I think even if you create your own reading journal, or if you have a notebook that you want to use as a reading journal, then you can definitely still hopefully get some ideas on here of things that you can use for 2026. The reading journal slash planner that I will be using is by Little Inklings Design, which is a small business based in Canada. I first got it in 2024, which is somewhere around here, but I have my 2025 one here. And for 2026, I ended up choosing this design. And she usually puts at least 2 cover options, and this is just the one that called to me the most. It has the moon here, which I love, like the moon and stars and all that stuff. It has a sword here, very romantic-y, which I love. Books, and then you do have a dragon here and some kind of like fairy dust. But this is the design that I chose and that I just kind of felt really spoke to me. So here on the inside, she also designed here, and then here I just have my name, and I put some kind of holographic stickers. I'm not really sure 100% how I feel about this, but I'm just gonna leave it at this point because I'm not really gonna be looking at this too much. So we're just gonna leave that there. So you do get an overview here of the months. And then here I already started putting in some birthdays. I still have a lot of birthdays that I need to add. And then you do have the important information section. So on here you do have your own star rating system that you can put, any anticipated releases, and then the legend, which I will show you where this is applicable. And then you also have the 2026 goals section. I don't know if I want to do just bookish goals that I have or goals for 2026. I'm going to be making a vision board for me, for my personal use, but I think I will put some of those things on here, maybe more related to like books and contents and stuff like that, maybe like bookish events that I hope to go to in 2026. So I'll be popping that on there. If you are curious about my rating system though and what I did, people get super creative. Some people do lyrics, some people do other things. For me, this is what I did. For 1 star, I only finished it because I had to, and that means this is probably a book club pick because I will never force myself to read a book. And I think even if it's book club, if it's really that terrible, I'm not gonna read it. For 2 stars, I put, okay, won't read it again. This is also, again, I think more than likely if it's like a book club pick book. 3 stars, I put, it was a good time and would recommend. 3 stars for me are not bad. 3 is good. I'm not obsessed, I'm not in love, but they're good. I had a good time, I enjoyed it. There was good things, and there were things that maybe I would have switched or wished were a little bit different just to rate it a little bit higher, but it doesn't mean that it's bad at all. 4 stars was really liked it, would tell people to read it. This is like the book that I'm not just like mentioning it here and there, like I'm probably mentioning it a lot in like my daily life when I get together with my friends, etc. 5 stars is loved it, would reread it, obsessed. And short and sweet. I mean, if I'm obsessed with something, I'm gonna talk your ear off about it. I'm never gonna shut up about it. It's gonna be my entire personality. You're gonna know. And if you ever ask me, what book should I read? Read that one. Have you read it? If you haven't, pick it up. That's basically me. So that's what I put for that. Go into the reading checklist, and she has a lot of those pages. So those are pretty much the ones that continue on in the journal. And then I set myself up for success. This is the first year that I do this, and I don't know why I hadn't done this before, but she has bookshelf pages and I already set them up. So what I did here, this is normally just like a blank rectangle, and I just kind of decorated it. I looked through stickers that I already had. This is actually new washi tape that I got, but I had this older washi tape before. I had this sticker, and this is actually washi tape around the edges. And I just used an X-Acto knife to cut through it. And then I already colored in whatever I wanted to color in. And and I did that for the other two, because you do get a half spread and then you get a full spread. And she did that because she didn't want to lose a page, but she also wanted to add more space for more books. What I want to be doing, and one of my goals for 2026 actually, is to be updating my bookshelf every week and be posting a like weekly update. So there's going to be a few things that I update every week, but one of the ones that's going to be as part of like my weekly update for my planner is updating my bookshelf page, because I think it can very, very easily just get out of hand and you can just totally forget and not do it, which is kind of what happened with me in 2025. You do have a book series tracker, and I just put this one in there as like an example. So I have Gods and Monsters series, and you can kind of do it differently. There is, I think it's 8 slots on here for, yeah, there's 8 slots. Obviously, if it's a series that has like 12 books, whatever, I see some people do half a square. So they'll do 1 and then a line and a 2, and that way they can color it in as they go. But I just put that one in there to kind of show, but I definitely still need to like fill this out. And I think I'll be filling it out as the year goes on, to be honest, because it'll kind of be hard. And then I have a page that I am really bad about not using, but I do want to use this year. And I hope, like, my plan is to really like have this out with me, especially when I'm reading at home, just so when I see a quote that I like, I can immediately jot it down and put it on here. But she does have several quote pages on here, and they all have different like frames and stuff. And she has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pages. And I do love quotes. I just tend to highlight it or mark it or think about it or save it on Instagram if I see somebody else posted that quote, and then I just don't write it down. Why? I don't know. And then she does have a pre-order page. I didn't really use it, which was bad, because there were times that I would get a book and I was like, when did I pre-order this? Like, I don't even remember. And I feel like that's a pretty bad sign. I also kind of am hoping that maybe by me filling out the pre-order pages, I will think to myself, okay, I think you've ordered enough books. You have enough books coming in. Maybe like pause it right now. So hopefully I do better about that. She has this, which I also really, really like, and it's the author backlist page. So basically she has some that have a lot more, some that have a little bit, and you can start putting in authors whose books you want to read. So here I started setting up, some of them on here. So I have Jade Hernandez, JT Geisinger, Gianna Darling, and then I also have Nyx Murgia at the bottom. So she has these 2 pages of author backlists that you can use. Books to reread section. I was debating if maybe I should already color it or if I should write down the books and then color them. But I don't know. I don't know how I want to go about it. And I think for now, the best thing to do is to just leave it blank and color it as I go. This next spread was one of the new ones for 2025. And I wrote it on there, but I didn't update it. So I think this is what I'm planning on doing. So she has this page, and obviously for next year, it's the 2026 playlist. And I was like, oh, great. I'll put whatever music or whatever song was stuck in my head per month. And that'll kind of tell me where my headspace was at every single month. But I listened to a bunch of audiobooks, and I don't know why I didn't think about just doing audiobooks. I'm like, you can put your favorite audiobook of the month on there. So because I didn't use my 2025 one, like I wrote it on there with pencil, but I didn't print out the actual pictures. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a Dutch door, which if you don't know what it is, basically it's kind of like you have like these flaps on there. So I'm gonna cut out the 2025 sheet. I'm gonna cut it like basically from here all the way down, and then I'm gonna tape it here with like double-sided tape really nicely. It's not gonna look bad, and make it kind of like a flip. So one of them is gonna be my favorite audiobook of the month, and then the other one is gonna be the song or the album that was on repeat for that month, because I am someone that really, really loves music. I love singing, even though I suck at singing. I do not have that talent, unfortunately, but I do love songs. And when I love a song, I just am constantly listening to it. I'm listening to it in the car, in the shower, at home. Like, I'm obsessed with the song. So I think that that would be really, really fun to kind of look back at the end of the year. And that's also a really good way of reusing spreads that I didn't use in 2025. Full disclosure, I tend to be the type of person that starts really well with your planners and journals, and then you fall off. And then you try coming back, and then you fall off. And then you use 25% of your planner. So this is the last year. I told myself, if I do not use this to the full capacity that I can, I am not allowed to get myself one next year. So that is going to be my motivational like factor of doing that. And also I have so many like content ideas that I think I could do with this to just be creative also and give other people ideas, and other people can give me ideas, and that'll keep me excited for my journal. But anyway, that was a brief intermission. And then here, okay, so this is what I did. I ended up buying these little flaps, and these, you can literally order them online. They came in like a pack, and there's a bunch of different colors, and I wanted to use it on the spreads that I thought I would use the most. So here you have a movie tracker. So you can put your movies and you can put what you rated it. But the reason why I put the tab there is because immediately after you have your TV tracker. And TV is actually something, I don't watch a ton of TV, but typically me and my boyfriend love watching movies. In fact, before we even moved in together, our main dates used to be going to go for dinner and a movie, because we just both really, really love movies. So, and as far as TV goes, we always have shows that like we're watching individually. Like for example, right now for me, it's Heated Rivalry. Well, for me and almost like half the world, it's Heated Rivalry, and that's like my show. That's the show that I watch. But he'll watch, you know, his other shows, his, you know, anime, whatever he's watching. So he has his own shows, and then we always have a show that we're watching together and that we're working through together. So I think that this would be a really nice way to track my shows that I'm watching, the shows that we're watching together. And then I think maybe what I want to do, so what I did last year is there's these little box here, and I would put either an N if it was on Netflix, you know, AA if it was at like Amazon Prime, or H if it was Hulu, or if it was like a YouTube series, whatever. But I think I kind of want to do that, and maybe next to it put like a J if it was January or February or whatever month. Because again, I think at the end of the year, when I'm looking through my journal and I'm reflecting and I'm doing all this stuff, I can kind of see like, oh, that's what I was watching at the time, and like, oh, that's when I saw it. Or somebody mentions it like, oh, when did you watch it? I can kind of keep track of it that way. And also if I end up jumping to another show, if I don't finish that one, I can be like, oh, I never finished the next season or whatever, you know. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm planning on going with it. Next, she has a spread that typically all of this is blank actually, and it just says of 2026. And you can choose whatever you want to put on here. You can put, you know, book club pick of 2026. You can put whatever you want, and it has 12 slots so that you can put basically one book a month if that's what you wanted to do. And what I did is I put on here favorite, and then I put stack of books. So favorite book of 2026, or books of 2026. And I'm basically going to be doing, you know, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and just printing out the cover and putting, you know, the rating. And I'm probably going to be adding like Jan, Feb, Mar, you know, just to kind of know when it was. But that's how I'm going to be, that's what I'm going to put on there. And even on here, she does have instructions on here. So she does put on here, you know, it's open to your creativity. You can put book club picks, favorite book of the month, top books of the year, because you could just do your 12 favorites. It doesn't, you could have 3 favorite books in January, and then hopefully not, you know, but like if you didn't have a favorite really in February, March, April that compared to those, then you can put those on there. So yeah, you could really, oh, and it even says, or even selections for book boxes. So if you have a book box subscription, you can put that on there of like the book of the month, or if you have multiple like me, you can put the favorite book that you got that month, but I'm gonna be using for my favorite book of the month. And she does have a 5-star read spread, and she does have these 2 pages. And I like it because you do put like, you know, when you read it, the book, and then how you read it. If it was an audiobook on Kindle, or if it was a physical read. She also added this page, which I actually think that this is what I'm gonna be doing. The moment that I pause a book, it is immediately going on here. So this is the did not finish / pause. And I think that this is such a great spot to put it, because already this year I had so many books that I paused to pick up another book, either because I was behind on book club or another book release and I really wanted to read it. So this is perfect because you can put on here the title, and you can put, you know, if it's a DNF or if you're just pausing it, and then when you do complete it, you can check it. And I think that that can also help you when you're trying to debate or when you're thinking back to the books that you read for the year. If you don't want a DNF to go with your reading checklist, I feel like this is perfect. Next, she has kind of the start of the challenges. So she has bookish superlatives. This is very much like what you would think of when you think about a yearbook. So it's, you know, most likely to succeed, best dressed, biggest heartbreaker. And underneath, she does have suggestions. So like, for example, biggest heartbreaker is like the one that made you cry, things like that. This one, I think I might be updating it at the end of the year, although that is kind of risky because then I might not. But I am a little bit, not a commitment phobe, but I'm kind of thinking, what if later on I read one? But then I also don't want to like not update it. So we'll see how that goes. And then on to my next tab, I have the A to Z challenge. So on here, of course, she has the alphabet, and then at the bottom, she also added a number. Last year was the first year that she added a number on here, and I did put the tab on here because what I did last year that I will be continuing in 2026 is as soon as I read a book that has that letter, I'm gonna put it on here. Because in 2024, what I tried doing is only if it's a 5-star read, I want to put it on here, or like 4 or 5-star read, then it goes on here. But then there's a lot of books that you kind of miss out on putting on here because they just don't start with that letter. So I think as long as it's not a DNF or like a 1 or 2-star read, it's definitely going to be going on here. And you do have the reading challenges page, and it has a lot of different prompts. So, you know, just like as an example, it's, you know, a 2025 award-winning book, the last book in a series, a book with the color in the title, a book set on an island. And then next to that you have, or the next pages, you have the on the cover reading challenge and also the reading rainbow challenge. So for the on the cover, it's, you know, there's sand on the cover, fruit, flowers, stuff like that. Rainbow, of course, like a red cover, orange cover, etc. And then for your bonus, you do have either a pattern, pastel, rainbow, or multicolor, and your favorite color. So some of these too, I hand wrote it on my 2025 one, and I did not put the pictures on there. I was actually better about that in 2024 than I was in 2025. So I will definitely, this is also something that I'm going to be updating on a weekly basis. Best case scenario, I finished this quick. Guess what? I have extra from 2025 that I didn't use. I can cut that page and paste it on here, and it'll be all well with the world. The genre reading challenge, the read through the ages challenge. So this is perfect actually for the genre one because I do want to branch out and read other genres. So she has fantasy, sci-fi, contemporary, poetry, classics, etc. Read through the ages, it has before 1869, and then it has different time periods all the way to in the future. And then here she has around the world reading challenge. So she has North America, an island, South America, and 2 new ones that she mentioned was not on land. And I do read a lot of alien space romances, so I think that's going to be perfect. And then she also added a Western Europe and Eastern Europe just to kind of give a little bit more options on there. Then she has a 26 books in 2026. Normally this page, I would put on here anticipated releases, things, or like it was some books that I meant to read, but some of the times I was putting on here new releases. This year, these are all the ones on my physical TBR. I actually filmed a 26 books in 2026. So all the books that I mentioned in that video are now written on here. And what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be choosing at least 2 per TBR to work my way through it. If I read even more, even better for me, gold star for me. But I already have them all written on here. So if you want to know more about the 26 and 2026, go check out that video. There are so many good books, if I do say so myself. And you have a mix of everything. There's dark romance, there's fantasy, there is thrillers, horrors, etc. So definitely check that out. And then you have these that are more creative, and these are new also for this year. So she made a blank bingo, and I actually ended up making it a Latin bingo. So on here I came up with the prompts myself, and this is just because I want to continue, of course, reading more from authors that look like me and speak Espanol just like I do. And on here I put the prompts. So I have different things on here. I have, you know, 2025 release, a retelling, mafia / cartel, because I do love my mafia and cartel, LGBTQ+, about sports, mythology, etc. And a lot of it does have to do with books that I want to read anyway. But yeah, so that is what I'm going to be working through throughout the year. And then the other one that she did is a blank Tetris. So I ended up choosing romance, and I did dark romance, as you can tell on here. Let's see, I did dark, I did mafia, small town, romantasy, contemporary, historical, and monster romance. So these are the ones that I ended up choosing. I know that I said I'm gonna be branching out and reading other genres. Primarily, I do read a lot of romance. So I was like, I think that that's gonna get me the most use out of my Tetris board. So that is what I'm gonna be doing. And I think also that way, if I see just one color, maybe I can switch it up and say, you know what? I haven't read a historical romance in a while, or I haven't read a monster romance in a while. So that's where that's gonna go. And then I have my reading goal tracker. In 2024, my reading goal was 100 books. I passed it. 2025, my reading goal was 100 books. Have not gotten there. I think I'm like almost at 90 books. I want to say I'm like at 87 books, and I'll probably finish, like I'll probably get to the 90s just because I'm going to be off of work for basically for like Christmas and the holidays. I'm not going to be working, so I'm going to have a lot more free time to be reading, but I don't want to put that pressure on myself of just reading whatever just to complete the 100 books. So if I do, then great, and if I don't, then I don't. For 2026, I ended up making my reading goal 100, and if I get there, then I get there, and if I don't, that's fine. Technically, this planner has for up to 152 books. And then of course she does have a battle of the books on here. So you do have a bookish bracket where you can kind of have them all fighting to see what the top of book of the year is. And then she has a blank thing that you can use as a tracker. A lot of people use it for pages read, books completed, things like that. I think the most popular one is probably pages read, just because you have a daily square. What I did last year and the year before, and what I'm still doing this year, which maybe seems kind of random, but there's a reason why, is a workout tracker. So the reason why I put it on here is because I know that this is one of the ones that I keep up with the most. So putting it on here, I think will also ensure that I keep it on hand. And I do plan on carrying this with me all the time. So that is why I still popped it in here. I am gonna be using it in my daily planner. I actually bought a super small planner that I plan on using just for myself for daily personal use. This, I do wanna gear it more towards books and stuff like that, but this is my workout tracker, and I love using this spread for that. At the bottom, I just have weightlifting, cardio, outdoor, class, and then rest. So weightlifting, I love lifting weights, so that's that. Cardio, if I'm running outside, walking on the treadmill, whatever. Outdoor, I play soccer on a women's team, so if I play soccer or I have a soccer game, or if I go to practice that Wednesday, that's what that's gonna be. And then class, if I do a class at my gym, or if I go try some other class, dance, Pilates, whatever, that's what that is. And then I do have a rest one, because I do try taking breaks in between. And a lot of the times it's really satisfying to be coloring the blocks and be kind of seeing like, oh, this is what I did that day. And like, oh, I went to go do pickleball, so let me color it, you know, green for outdoor. And you know what, I've been working out a lot, I can take a rest day and just, you know, do the rest day. So that's that. You do have your monthly reading stats page next, so you do have all the months in the column, and then you have the number of books read, total pages, if it was books, ebooks, audio, DNF, how many star ratings you gave, the average rating, and then the books that you hauled. And then you also have a genre tally per month, so you have all the months here. And then I made my own genres on here based on books that I want to read this year. So I put romance, romantasy, thriller / horror, young adult, nonfiction, and fantasy. You can do whatever genres you want. Those are just the ones that I chose. On here, you could do genres read, and then you have a key. You have a book format breakdown and a key, and then star rating breakdown and then a key. So that way you can kind of do your own pie charts, but this is more for the end of the year. And this is where Storygraph is really going to come in handy. I'm actually going to be exclusively trying to use Storygraph for 2026. And I think that's just because it gives you a lot more information. So that's the app that I'm going to use. And then you also have a pages read in 2026, which is also why I don't use that other tracker for that. Because in this one, you can make your own charts, and it only starts at 0 and you have a ton of lines. So you could do, you know, 100, 200, whatever, or you could do, you know, 300, whatever, depending on how many pages you see that you're reading. You do also have some blank pages, and a lot of people do different spreads, different things. I did something totally different with my 2025 one, but for 2026, I am doing a book club like picks. So these I made them myself, and I am part of 2 different book clubs. So I did my Bonitas book club on here, and I already have a square for every single month's pick. And then here I have my book club with my friends. It's literature, which is such an amazing name. I know, my friend popped off with the name. But this is where I'm going to be putting the books that I read. And then I do want to get like a stamp rating, a star rating stamp. I said it backwards. To be putting it underneath, just to be, you know, putting on there what I'm rating it. So that's what's going to go on there. And then I do have blank pages here. I think I only have two. Oh no, I have these two and these two. I don't know if I want to leave them open. Part of me was just thinking of maybe leaving it there. I might do a buddy read spread. In my 2025 one, I did do a buddy read spread, which I was really good about, and then I kind of fell off. Because also I'm not that good at buddy reading unless we assign chapters. I think that that's going to keep me accountable. And actually my friends and I are planning on doing a Twilight reread. So I think I'm gonna do a buddy read spread, and I might just do it 2 pages and see what happens, because worst case scenario, there's more paper on here. And then of course after that you do go into the months. So if you want to see what the months look like, you can definitely check out Little Inklings Design YouTube video. Again, I'm gonna put the link down there so you can see the spread of what it looks like. She does have like a books to read, new releases, so I will be doing those spreads at the beginning of every month as well, for like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube shorts as well. And I did get the vertical layout. Wait, vertical? Yeah, vertical layout. So this is what the vertical layout looks like. It just has the 3 squares. It has dot grids at the bottom that you can use for different things, and then you can put the amount read per day. At the end of the month, you also have a bookish haul page and a reading wrap-up page, which I will also be posting about on those, like on TikTok, Instagram, etc. There is quarterly wrap-ups that you can do, stuff like that, but it's the same for the month. And then of course at the end of December, besides your monthly wrap-up, you also have your monthly wrap-up, you have your quarterly wrap-up, and then you have your 2026 reading wrap-up that you can do as well. So that goes there. And then at the very end is when you get into the reviews. So you do have these 2 coloring spreads that you can do, which I thought were really fun that she did, because I think while you're listening to an audiobook, you can definitely do that. And then this is what the review pages look like. I do plan on updating these as I go, because I can get pretty bad about forgetting names and stuff like that. So on here it has title, author, started and finished, if it's from my collection, the library or an arc or other, publication date, genre, setting, and your thoughts on the book. So I will be using those. And you have a ton of you have a lot of spots on there, so I don't remember exactly how many, but pretty much, let me see, these pages. So you have a lot. You're not gonna run out. Like, you have a lot. And then at the end, you do have some dot grid paper and also some lined paper that you can use. And I started this spread. I actually haven't really finished it, but I did a 2026 Biostones. And again, I haven't finished it. I just kind of was like, oh, maybe I can put that on there. But I think this I'm going to use more for pictures. So I think I'm just going to be printing pictures out of maybe bookish events or signings and stuff like that. And I'm going to be updating that on there. And I do have more pages. So I think also if I run out of space at the beginning, or if I think of other things that I want to add that I didn't really have time for, but I want to add it at the front, that's what I'm going to do. But you do have quite a few pages of that. And then something that she added this year that I actually really appreciated is the fact that she put dimensions on here so that you know, and if you're going to print them on like a paper, or if you're going to print them using the HP, I think it's the Sprocket, the little printer, that's the one that I have. She put on here, I think she made the book, like I think she made the sizes like that printer paper, because even though there's other printers from different brands, they print the same size. So she put on here the dimensions of what the boxes are for the reading challenges and the book reviews, also for the book illustration for that favorites of 2026, and then for the playlist page. She also included the dimensions on there. And then she included other dimensions too for like the title about, like above the bookshelf, which is the one that I already covered and decorated, the reading goal tracker box, the bingo card space, but if you want to print them out. And then also like the spread box sizes, because there's people that want to decorate a full box and maybe write their to-do list or their books that they read or whatever on there. So I did like that she included all of those measurements for people to know. And then at the back, she brought back the pocket, which I was really, really grateful for because she removed it in 2025. And I didn't realize how much I used the pocket until it was gone. I was like, ooh, actually, I wanted the pocket. So thankfully, she did add it back on there. So I was really, really glad. And all of the planners come with these, and she does sell her own stickers. So I just ripped it because I don't like this being in the front, but I'm not going to be carrying it on here either because as you guys saw, it just kind of sticks out and it kind of looks funny also. So she does have her own stickers. I also have my own stickers that I made for the emojis, and I like them because they're matte and I don't really like the shiny stickers so much. So I don't really think I'm going to be using these. I might use them in some of like my daily spreads just to use them and not let them go to waste. And then of course you are able to tie all of this up, and then this is the size of the planner. So anyway, that is my reading journal that I will be utilizing for 2026. Please wish me luck. I really, really hope I can keep up with this. I have a ton of ideas of how I want to plan out content around my planner as well, so that I can really be using it, really be creative, and again, be getting ideas of how to improve it and make reading, which is such a hobby already, into kind of journaling and mixing them together and making them just really fun and really a good time. So if you have any ideas of other things that maybe would be smart for me to keep track of, or if you have ideas as to maybe content ideas that I can do for this so that it'll also help me stay accountable, and maybe we can kind of help each other. If you have your own reading journal and you're like, hey Myra, maybe if you make this type of content, like I will also keep up with it, please let me know because I can use all the help that I can get. So thank you so much for watching this video. And again, I will link her video down below so you can see her whole flip through, and she goes over other ideas that you can use as well. But yeah, with all of that said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.